good in the web? This is your man Q back again with some more video game stuff. And you know what? Many of y'all have heard my tragic tales before about my video games being stolen. Like almost now, I can't believe it. 15 years ago, going on 20 years ago. Wow, time passes so fast. All 360, GameCube, PlayStation 2, PlayStation 1 games, all stolen from one like CD case, over $2,000-$3,000 or more. Probably more with, you know, inflation and just the price of how these ancient games go. These old relics like Ark of the Lad Collection or Lunar, Blue Dragon for the 360. So instead of, you know, making it another year of complaining about the things that I lost, late last year, I was going to remedy that by starting to recollect all the stuff that was stolen from me within the years. So that goes from consoles to games, which is cheaper to get a console now than it is to get some of these games. I just wanted to give y'all the disclaimer of why I decided to pick up a Xbox 360 in 2022. I ended up picking this bad boy up for about $55 on eBay, and this one does have the 120 gigabyte storage in it. And honestly, I ain't about to show y'all the serials other than just this little flip-flap missing. No red ring of death. I forgot how heavy these Xbox 360s were. It's in really good condition. Even the controller is in really great condition, other than, you know, a little, you know, wear and tear scuffs. But the system did drop 2006, so that is to be expected. But besides wanting to pick up the game or the console just for the sense of nostalgic reasons, because of the fact it was taken from me before. Well, what happened was the system wasn't taken from me before life happened. And for those of y'all who've had life happen, I had to trade one of them in for some rent. So as far as the games, one of the reasons that I had to have an Xbox 360 again is simply for games like Lost Odyssey. And you know what? Y'all should know already, I'm a collector as well, and I love the cases. But if you can't get a case to a rare game, you better just makeshift and get the game. I should have this in a better case, but I wanted to pick up, or I picked up, Lost Odyssey. And for those of y'all who don't know about Lost Odyssey is one of those premier JRPGs that, it doesn't get enough life. A lot of people consider it to be the spiritual successor to Final Fantasy X, a Hanabaru Sakagachi game, for those of y'all who don't know, the godfather, producer of Final Fantasy games from basically 1 through 10, from 87 to 01, was Hanabaru Sakagachi. So you can feel some of that feeling inside of the game, that nostalgic love, fantasy, and lore all mixed together. And that was one of the main reasons that I had to have this system, because you still can't find Lost Odyssey, from at least from what I'm knowing, anywhere else. That and Blue Dragon, also a creation by Hanabaru Sakagachi, who teamed up with his homie Akira Toriyama, aka the dude who did the Chrono Trigger artwork and creator of Dragon Ball, Dragon Ball Z, and all the rest of those entities. So you can see from the spiky hair and from some of the way the characters look, you'd be like, hey, that's Vegeta, hey, that's Bulma, hey, that's Goku. So that game was also a really great game, and I did get the opportunity to play Blue Dragon. Unfortunately, that one was taken too, so that I do have to recop. And I'm not certain if that one is on any other a platform either just yet, because I know that is a Mistwalker game, and Mistwalker Games, which is Hanabaru Sakagachi's brainchild after he left Squaresoft, now, you know, Square Enix, is one of those type of companies that usually make a game for that system and that's it. He just recently said he wasn't interested in making another The Last Story, one of the greatest Wii games that there was. Actually, as far as character and story-wise, I actually like the last story better than I did Xenoblade Chronicles, even though Xenoblade Chronicles in totality, just because of the length of the game and all the gameplay elements, was better. But as far as story and characters, hats off to Hanabu Sakagachi and the folks over there at Mistwalkers for the last story, because it was, for me, the literal successor to Final Fantasy. That's more like Final Fantasy than 12, 13, and all their entities, and 15, in my opinion. Just trust me on that. Check it out. Besides Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, I also wanted to get some of those old games who were, at the time, Xbox exclusives, like Magna Carta, and a couple that were ported over to the Switch and PlayStation later, which was The Last Remnant. Even though I have it on Switch digitally, I want to rebuy The Last Remnant for the 360, because that's where it was native from, was the 360. And this, I only got in maybe 10-15 hours into the game. And if y'all know, when you get 10 hours into any like RPG or anything, especially RPGs, you just scratching the surface. 10-15 hours, you were still in Midgar if you were playing Final Fantasy 7, just to give some reference of how little 10 or 15 hours are. I did get a little more into Infinite Undiscoveries, and I did like this game because of the fact that it had a unique plot. If I could remember correctly, it had to do with the moon, it had to do with chains, and it had to do with the chains wrapping up the moon, and all kind of shit was breaking loose because of these events. So a ragtag group of colorful hair JRPG characters had to go and stop it. Sounds like every other RPG, right? Of course, it's gonna be a big bad empire. Of course, there's gonna be some love elements sprinkled into it. And that's one of the reasons that I was excited. Believe it or not, as much as people think that I hate the Xbox, I don't hate Xbox. I buy systems for what games I want to play. And I suggest everybody do that, not for what games your friends want to play, unless y'all playing together and that's your favorite game. Not how the system looks, even though I do say the Xbox 360 looked better than the PlayStation 3, the fatback, at least in my opinion. Also because the functionality for the 360 was just better. Matter of fact, the functionality for the 360 is better than the Wii U, and the Wii U came out, what, 5, 6, 7 years after it. But in the beginning cycles, when the new systems were coming out, the 360 and the PlayStation 3 didn't have any console exclusives or those RPGs that I wanted. That was still far off, what, 09, 010, when Final Fantasy 13 was about to release. So in the meantime, Infinite Undiscoveries, Tales of Vesperia, the Mass Effect series, Two Human, Lost Odyssey, Blue Dragon, Last Remnant, just, you know, I'm repeating myself, but they had more console exclusives and RPGs that I wanted, and they seemed to, at the time, want to actually cater to the JRPG market, which was a smart move, in my opinion. Unfortunately, it was short-lived, which is why a lot of these titles are kind of left in limbo, kind of like how Xenoblade Chronicles X is just left in limbo over on the Wii U. So you got to go back and rebuy these games and systems, consoles, just to play them. Also, Tales of Vesperia, the original, came out exclusively for the 360 at the time, which is still considered to be one of the greatest Tales games, which I still need to go back and beat, but I will be picking that one up too for 360. So a lot of the games that I was not able to get for 360 or who were stolen from me, I'm going to recop those to bolster up the collection. Look, trust me, take my advice, and it's not just about video games, is instead of complaining and crying about it, do something about it. Actions literally speak louder than words, and I got tired of listening to myself on stream and on videos crying and complaining about all the systems and stuff that was stolen from me. So I decided to just start buying the systems again. And again, this one works, and I got it at a good price. So bide your time. Check it out. I don't do auctions on eBay because I stopped having patience for that way in the turn of the millennium. Because ain't nothing worse than you bidding on something. That just happened. I tried it again with Xenosaga, and somebody outbid me for 15 cents, 50 cents, something like that. I don't have time to sit there. Let me do a buy now option, get it out the way, and send it to me. Box that the Xbox 360 came in was shady, but thank the Lord that the system worked. And I was looking at Lost Odyssey on it yesterday, and Lost Odyssey can match some of the games graphically that are out now, which is crazy. But anyway, that's all I really have for you. I just wanted to share one of my pickups with y'all. I will start trying to do more of these. I have a video that's kind of lost in translation when I did my GameCube unboxing reveal thing some months ago. It's tagged to one of my other videos. So what I'm gonna do with that is just cut it, take that out, and then redo it. Or not even redo it, just, you know, give that 5-6 minutes its own video, put it in a playlist, and bada bang, there you go. But anyway, let me know what systems that y'all lost in the past that you got or going to get now, or are you interested in going back and collecting? I know that retro gaming and collecting has became big again, especially since, you know, the great miasma that happened a couple years ago. Everything just inflated more than it already was. So for me to get an Xbox 360 for 50 bucks is a godsend. I picked up the GameCube for about 100, and I don't know if I got the Wavebird with that, but all the original stuff with it, all the original stuff with the Xbox. So it's just one of these situations you just gotta shop around. Also, don't be scared to go and try your local mom and pop shop, which probably would charge you more. So you probably would do better going to your local Salvation Armies or Goodwills. I've seen a lot of systems there that you can pick up. But when I get some more systems, you know, I'm gonna show y'all. Until then, in the web, as always, remember to eat, sleep, geek, repeat. I'll holler at y'all in the next video. Peace. I was doing it in secret. And then it just hit me. And that's when it hit me. And that's when I became a geek. Finally, the sleeper has awakened. I am the prince of all geeks once again.